Welcome to the Lead Every Day show. Our mission is to see a world well led. And our strategy to get there? To empower leaders like you to lead every day. So let's get to work.
Welcome to the Lead Every Day show. And it's not just any day, it is launch day for your new book, Mark, Uncommon Greatness. I'm excited that we're going to get to dive into this conversation today as we conclude our fundamentals of leadership. I'm Randy Gravitt.
I'm Mark Miller.
And you're the man today, dude. I'm so congratulations here. I'm going to do a little clap. I'll give you a little golf clap here.
Thank you.
Book's out. It's official. If you've not gotten your copy, go to Amazon, Barnes & Noble, wherever you get it. Go to leadeveryday.com. You can get it there. We've got the bundle there. This is really cool if you've not checked it out. Over $350 value. Mark's done a course on this. We've got a field guide, a quick start guide, the book. It's all there. You can get digital. You can get physical. I think you can get physical resources. I don't know how physical you get there. $89, $129. We're diving in here, Mark, and we've been talking about these heart habits. And I'm wondering, have we saved the best for last? You got a thought on that as we get going here?
Well, let me tell you a little story about that. I had the privilege to share these heart habits with the publisher and the entire publishing team a few years ago. And during that meeting, the publisher challenged me that I should order the heart habits in order of priority, that I should rank them. Now, his premise was people never finish a book if they start it, which I thought was a bit pessimistic from the head of a publishing firm, but he's probably right. I mean, he's a truth teller. And he said, so you want to be sure you're helping people as much as possible, as early as possible. And so he really challenged me to make this last heart habit the first. It's pretty important. It's pretty important. So the fifth heart habit is to think others first. Now, I'll be the first to admit that's not always my natural instinct, and I'm going to bet that sometimes that's not your natural instinct either. There's something in most human beings that makes us want to think about ourselves, but that's not what uncommon leaders do. And it's this ability to think others first that creates a bit of a magnet so that others really want to follow us. If we're convinced that we have their best interest at heart, we want them to win, we're much more likely to be a leader that people want to follow.
Yeah.
This is critically important.
This is huge, and it is hard, like you say. We love me some me, right? I mean, it starts early. I got a granddaughter right now. I was talking to her on the phone this weekend, and she's learned "no, mine." I mean, she's 18 months old. "No, mine," and that's a sentence. I don't like. How do they learn it so early? It's like we're sort of born with this idea that we're going to look out for ourselves first, and yet we're saying here that if we're going to be leaders that others want to follow, and we're going to really embody a leader's heart, that's the fundamental. We've got to think others first, and you're going to get all kind of chances to practice here when it comes to it. But let's dive in here and give them some ways to think about it. I think the first one is, we talked about listening deeply a few days ago. I think here, this idea of listening to understand, like, what's the other person going through? That's a great place to start, don't you think?
Yeah, it's another form of the art of listening.
Yeah.
Because I would just say so often we don't really understand. Now, we understand the words because we're all educated to some extent, and we know what the words mean. But words don't really have meaning. People do.
Yeah.
You don't know necessarily what someone means by this word or that word. And as we talked before, the space between the notes. How good are you at discerning what they're not saying? And so one of the tactics, and I would call it a tactic, and I don't mean to minimize it or trivialize it or cheapen it, but we taught this tactic to the business consultants at Chick-fil-A 30 or 35 years ago. Because you think about it, in a consulting relationship, your real objective is to serve the person you're consulting. And we knew how important this behavior was for those consultants. And so we taught them, when someone explains a problem, an opportunity, a situation, or their perspective, that it's often very helpful to say, so here's what I hear you saying, and to play it back. And they will either affirm and the conversation can move forward, or they'll go, no, that's not really what I'm saying. Say, well, fantastic. Would you take another shot at it? Help clarify for me what I don't yet understand. That demonstrates a great heart. And remember, we're talking about embody a leader's heart when a leader really wants to understand. Now, at the end of the day, I'm under no obligation to agree with you, but I would say, what an opportunity to understand before you declare we're going to go this way or that way, yes or no.
Yeah, let me give you another tactic if you're going to embody a leader's heart. It's to lead with empathy. It goes along with what we've been talking about here, but this idea of empathy is so important. Now, I'm maybe not the most empathetic person in the world. It's something I have to work on. I actually thought, I'm going to look this up and make sure I understand. I hear people talk about empathy all the time, and you think you know what it means. I looked it up. It means to understand and share in the feelings of another. I love that reminder that it's not just understanding, oh, you're going through something hard, I'm glad that's not me. That's not empathy. or you're going through something really great, I wish that were me. That's jealousy. Empathy is when we understand you're hurting, and that therefore if you're on my team, I'm hurting. Or you're going through something really great, I'm celebrating with you. That's true empathy. And when we lead with empathy, it really is another way that we are able to think others first. We're really asking ourselves, what's it like to be this other person? And let's put ourselves in their shoes and let's hurt with them when they're hurting. Let's celebrate with them when they're celebrating. I think when we do that, it makes us, again, a leader that others want to follow. It really endears us to people, and they want to be a part of that.
Yeah. Yeah. So let me give you one exercise, one activity to maybe close this segment. And I've seen this work in my life. I've seen it work in the lives of other leaders. What would happen if you attempted to add value to every person that you meet? I mean, if you really tried. Now, some of you are going, well, that's impossible. Well, first, let's time bound this. What if you tried this for a day? Well, somebody's thinking, well, it's still impossible. You can't add value to every person you meet. But remember, let's be careful. What I said here is, what if you attempted to? What if you tried to? Well, it's the trying that changes you. It's the effort. Because when I'm trying to add value to you, who am I thinking about? Well, I'm not thinking about me. I'm thinking about you. And so if we want to cultivate this heart habit, this ability to think others first, we've got to get our heart and our mind off of ourselves onto those around us. I want to encourage you to try this. Again, maybe for a day. If you're bold, try it for 2 days. I think at some point you may want to try this for a week, and maybe this becomes a lifestyle. Try to add value to everyone you meet. It'll change your heart. It'll change your life, and it'll change your leadership. And I want to hear from you. I want to know how this experiment goes. You can send me an email at mark@leadeveryday.com. I'm going to be excited to hear about your progress.
I love that idea. Let me give you one more thing you can do to add value. This might be a very practical way. Get a copy of the book for a friend or a family member, maybe somebody that you lead with, maybe your entire team. I encourage you to go get that. I promise some of the people around you is really going to help give them a framework to think about their leadership. And if you missed the bundle, go to leadeveryday.com. We've got the digital bundle for $89, the printed one for $129. You get the book, the field guide, the quick start guide. Mark, you got the 25-session course, incredible stuff. It's over a $350 value. You're getting a huge savings on that. It's launch week. We're excited about it. I hope you'll take advantage of those. Remember, the best leaders lead every day.